I don't think actors really understand that there's more than just being in front of the camera,
Right.
that there's a lot of opportunities as an actor in dubbing.
Well, the voice, as I say, the voice
Yes.
does the Buddha's work. The
Yeah.
voice is very powerful. I mean, any important thing in your life, there's probably some message that someone's left you. It's either, I love you, or you're stupid. There's something, that voice is so powerful.
Welcome to Common Sense Mamita. I'm Lydia Nicole, and if you want information on acting tips, show business insight, or life lessons, you've come to the right place. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell for notifications on what we're doing. Today, I have the pleasure of having one of the coolest Latinas in Hollywood right here at my table. Not only is she one of the coolest, but she is also an Emmy winner. Not many people can say that. Anyway, please help me welcome Marabina Jaimes. Welcome, Marabina.
Thank you, Lydia.
I love you, girl.
Thank you, and congratulations on Common Sense Mamita. Finally, someone's talking about common sense, because I think we
trying.
need it out there.
We're trying.
No, congratulations.
Thank you. First of all,
Yes.
I love that you are an Emmy winner. Let's start off with that.
Well, it's an amazing blessing, but of course I won it for working on a children's show. I used to do a show called Storytime on PBS, a reading show. Oh my gosh, what a concept, right? To highlight reading. I'm so grateful. I can't tell you really, there are no formulas. I can't tell you how any of these things happen. I've just been incredibly blessed. But I can tell you one thing, winning an award is great, but you have to keep working.
Yes, but not only Emmy, but you also got some Imagen nominations.
Imagen nominations. There was also a Humanitas Award that went to Santo Baguito.
Which is very prestigious, girl.
Well, I just want to say I've been very fortunate to work with so many talented people. I mean, those weren't awards bestowed on me particularly, but part of projects that I worked on. Over the years, it's just been amazing how many more talented Latinos we are actually highlighting. And of course, the Imagen Awards highlights them all. So it's amazing. You know, it's in increments, but I think that talent and passion is just something you can't stop. Latinos in particular are very passionate and very talented. We definitely should continue to create.
And how did you get into acting?
I really had no choice. I am the product of a beautiful Mexican magician's assistant want-to-be and a Puerto Rican Latin jazz pianist. So this is what happens when two people like this get together. My mom was basically a stage mom. She really wanted to make sure, I guess, that some or one or any of her 7 children, that they would become famous or at least well known. Her idea of being famous would be to be a dancer. Tongolele. This is what she wanted me to be. And I will refer you to a documentary called Now in Español, which you could find at pbs.org, and it'll tell you the full story. But basically, that's how I grew up. I grew up with a mom that was kind of living vicariously.
So when did you start taking acting classes?
No, I started by doing commercials in Spanish, but my most important place to practice was my living room. Basically, my living room was where I practiced my future. I would sing into the Hoover vacuum cleaner. My mom would put on Celia Cruz, and I would be dancing and choreography, doing choreography. I would be reciting Shakespeare, which was very weird because I said I'm a Mexican, so who knows? But I had this passion, and I also was so intrigued with character actresses like Lucille Ball or Mary Tyler Moore or that girl. I mean, these women were doing all this stuff. I mean, Julia, the nurse. I was like, wait, where are these women coming from?
What she forgot is that she used to babysit me
No,
and would teach me John Travolta dance routines when I
That's
was
right.
6, 7 years old. She used to babysit me and change my diapers.
Yes, and also I have to thank all my nieces and nephews, including Ernie, because I would perform for them and make them crazy. So thank you.
We were her audience,
audience.
not by choice, but we still love her.
All right, I love you. Get out,
Mwah.
get out of here.
Mwah.
I'm really proud of that guy. We needed more money, more everything. There were 7 of us, and my mom was a single mom. My mom taught me a very important thing. If we didn't have it, we could make it. So that was kind of like my whole mantra, if you will. I never realized that we were poor. I just realized that we needed to make more things.
You were resourceful.
Then, of course, I eventually got into doing commercials and then, theater in school and here and there. I was the queen of Plaza de la Raza. My mother was very involved in
Plaza de la Raza is a great organization and community
a
center
community center
in East LA.
that focused on culture, of course, as we were talking. It was kind of odd. It was just so weird, but I mean, there were just a lot of opportunities to learn and grow. I eventually got into dubbing, which was first dubbing commercials into Spanish and then dubbing Japanese animation into English and then dubbing foreign films into English and
how
then
did you
back
get
and forth.
how did you get into that? Because I don't think actors really understand that there's more than just being in front of the camera,
Right.
that there's a lot of opportunities as an actor in dubbing.
Well, the voice, as I say, the voice
Yes.
does the Buddha's work. The
Yeah.
voice is very powerful. I mean, any important thing in your life, there's probably some message that someone's left you. It's either, I love you, or you're stupid. There's something, that voice is so powerful. These opportunities came up because there weren't a lot of bilingual young people. I mean, truly bilingual, just word of mouth. And one thing, I had an Emmy before I ever had a good agent.
Wow.
But it's, it's a luck of the
And
draw.
were you doing ADR before you started dubbing, or did dubbing come before?
No, dubbing came before, and that's an art in itself. Actually replacing full dialogue or replacing it in a different language. I mean, that's a whole, as you know, I did Desperate Housewives in Espanol. I was the Brenda Strong character in Spanish. It's a very unique, important thing to learn.
You also dubbed Coco.
I didn't dub Coco. I was one of the many additional
Okay.
voices. But I want to tell you something about voice work, or actually acting in general. I think these are all parts of branches of the same tree. I think that what happens sometimes is that actors lose their hope or lose their way when they don't realize that there are so many different facets. Theater, of course, is absolutely paramount, and I had wonderful training. I worked with Jaime Jaimes originally at LAAT, which is now LATC. I worked with Jose Luis Valenzuela. I have
Wonderful
done
director.
tons of improv classes, tons of voiceover improv classes, which are very important. So I've always just been a very curious person. I've always just wanted to know how to keep the wheel spinning. The one thing I absolutely love about voiceover work, which differentiates it from on-camera work, is there are no set limitations in voice. I mean, I like to call myself a global citizen. I'm everything. I mean, really, I'm so mixed. But sometimes you come across either writers or casting directors that place these false limitations on you.
On your physical.
On your physical, which is ridiculous. The voice is very different. There's lots to learn. There are accents, there are cadences, there are regional accents, also the different languages, also sounds. I mean, you have so many different options as an actor to work with your voice. I would definitely encourage anyone listening to you today to look into their true voice.
When you talk of voice acting, you get your eyes twinkle, you get excited, and what do you love about it?
It pays good, girl.
Okay. Okay.
Seriously, voice work, as I said, knocks down those ridiculous limitations. Also, as I said before, the voice is so powerful. I mean, why do you think there's all this, all these subliminal messages are being sent to you all day on television? You're not really paying attention, but if you started to pay attention, you would also see that it's also really important for people of color to spread their voice, their vision, their way of looking at things. It's happening. I mean, we have so many amazingly talented people of color, writing, directing. There's still a bit of a chip on everyone's shoulder. Why in the world would you have to walk into an audition and I hope I'm Puerto Riqueña enough. I hope I'm Mexicana. There's like a constant.
Well, I think part of it is shame, is that we don't embrace what we have and what we do. The negative connotations that we put on it, as opposed to say, I'm an actor, this is what I do.
Right.
I can go into that character, I can go into that character, but we got shamed for being Latina, or we got shamed for being it. We were told it wasn't good enough, instead of taking the best of it and say, I'm gonna really use this to my advantage.
Well, also, it's who's been telling us.
Yes.
If you just close your eyes for 1 minute and think about maybe the last 3 television shows, or even shows that you've seen on a streaming service that you have observed, if there were any Latinos involved in that show, would you say, wow, those characters seem like they were written almost by the same person? There's like a formula. All of that is happening. The good news is that we can change it, and I encourage anyone, if you're a writer, please write. If you're an actor, act. If you're interested in moving the ability for all of us to make wonderful projects, please learn how to produce. I'm not here to complain about anything.
And
I'm
direct.
very grateful.
Yes, and that there are many facets in entertainment that people of color can get involved in. And no one can stop you, because today, if you have a smartphone, you can
right.
create content, and content is king.
Content is king.
Especially if it's good content.
Yes. Well, the thing is, though, yes, you have to have content, but you also have to, really study. Some people say you should only write what you know. I think, yes, you should write what you know, but you need to be curious and explore who's being successful. I love when I hear of people that are successful and they talk about how they themselves have looked for mentors. It's very important to, ask someone who's crossed a barrier, or who's won an award, or who's been very accomplished in something. Please tell me how you did this. So I am all for being curious about people, asking. We're so mixed already. It's almost ridiculous that we still, even Latinos amongst Latinos, we ourselves, we continue to put up these bizarre barriers. And on that, I also want to say, I don't mean to take anything away from anyone, but I really think that violence and drugs, we've talked and made movies and television shows enough about this. I'm so interested in finding out who is doing projects that actually have to do with something positive about humanity. I'm looking forward to those projects.
You've been a union actor for a bunch of years.
Yes.
What do you have to say about our union?
I have to say that it's very important to be informed. So I would like to invite anyone that is watching this video, if you're a member of the Screen Actors Guild, I invite you to be more informed about how your union works, and also check out the amazing benefits that the union provides, besides contracts, looking into residuals, finding money for you. There's the conservatory. They offer a couple of days where you can do free videotaping for your self-taping for auditions. There are a lot of instructors that volunteer, a lot of actors that are working or have worked for a long time, or really have some information to impart. So that's important, to be informed and look into what the union's offering you, and please vote. Now, this goes not only for our union, but of course in general.
Yeah.
You've got to get informed, and you have to vote. On that note, I also wanted to mention a wonderful benefit that not only actors, directors, dancers, choreographers, anyone who has ever worked in our business.
And can produce a pay stub.
Yes, and
you
can
worked
produce
in
a
it,
space.
yes.
There's a wonderful organization, the Actors Fund, that is for you. A lot of people are struggling terribly. They're either losing their insurance because they're not working enough, or they are really having a hard time making a transition if they, did one type of acting and now they find themselves in a different category. The Actors Fund is available. I can tell you something really interesting about the Actors Fund. It really is made for anyone that is or ever has worked in the business. I think one of the scariest things about the lives of actors or creatives is that most of them really don't know what to do with their money. There are so many people that end up with issues because they don't know how to budget their money. They actually don't know how to get the top dollar for what they're doing. So also at the Actors Fund, I just want to plug this because it's great. Miata Edoga teaches a great class, cash flow budgeting. There's a fantastic class about the philosophy of money. However, we have learned to grow up with money follows us around.
I've taken all of them.
Oh, you've taken
and they are amazing.
Yes.
They are amazing.
And the other thing is that there's a big push once you get your things sorted out. There's a big push for you to start thinking if there's a side hustle, if you can create something. I think that what happens with creatives, it's like a double-sided coin. On the one side, you're passionate about doing something. You know, I feel it, I got the vibe. And then on the other, it's like, oh, how do I make this practically? How am I practical about making something happen? I just wanted to talk about, of course, the Screen Actors Guild and the Actors Fund. They're available. And also, if you are a new actor and you don't know anything about the Screen Actors Guild, I encourage you to look into it as well. There are some issues about, you know, if you're not union, should you do a lot of non-union work? And I think the reason that you want to work, you want a career that makes you happy, but you also have to survive.
You want to make money. SAG AFTRA Foundation at YouTube has a bunch of great videos in every area of the craft as well as the business to help you. Go run after you see this, but go watch this stuff. It's excellent.
And another thing I want to say, there is also the Voiceover Lab at Screen Actors Guild. Between you and me, I have heard that there are not enough men of a certain age that speak Spanish that are good in voiceover. So I would encourage everyone
to know,
but particularly men of a certain age.
Yes.
You know, there are so many opportunities. You really do have to look, though.
When you go to audition, and now we have a lot of self-taping, how do you set yourself up to self-tape?
All right. Well, the first thing I want to tell you is when I get an audition, the first thing I do is tear up my hair and scream because I hate to audition. I'm like, I have an Emmy. Isn't that enough? No. I really do not enjoy the self-taping. Number one, I much rather would come into a casting director's office. That person is being paid to tell you what the director really wants. And the lighting's going to be better. Of course, there are some great places where, you know, you can pay to do your self-taping. I really don't think it's the same. Unless you're a whiz at lighting and shooting yourself, and you know you have an amazing reader. You know, there are all these other
So
elements.
when you self-tape, do you go somewhere
I go
else?
somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
And fortunately for me, I live very close to a place. Twice I've been cast off of a self-tape. I don't really enjoy it.
Okay.
I don't think it's fair to ask an actor who is trying to deliver a performance to also deliver all the technical stuff and to give you what you want when we don't even know what that is.
Right.
I mean, unless it's very specific. But, of course, if it's an under 5, I just do a manicure. I don't care. That's it. That's all they get.
And when it comes to voiceovers,
Yes.
do you do self-taping for voiceovers?
Separate recording. Yes, that's different because
Okay.
I'm very, very used to recording myself and doing voices. And, I've booked a lot.
And do
from
you
home.
have like a little studio in your home to record, or do
Girl,
you do...
I don't have anything
Okay.
little. Okay. No, I have a space in my home. I also have lots of studios around me. But of course, anyone with an iPhone and a good mic can record, you know, in the car. It doesn't matter anymore. Even voice memo. I've sent voice, you know, and when I've traveled, I just do a voice memo and I send it off. Really, there are no limitations.
What would you tell somebody who wants to get into acting?
Please go to the theater. Please read theater. Please meet theater actors. Please get involved with this concept of give and take because that's what theater is all about. And then find a teacher, a workout, a class where you can really practice what you love.
So your favorite medium for acting?
My favorite medium for acting, of course, is film. It's so powerful. My sadness about that medium is that as of yet, I haven't been able to work on something that really makes a difference in film. I'm waiting for those stories. I really am. And also, as I said before, I don't want to talk about violence and drugs and abuse towards women. I don't want to talk about that anymore. I think we are saturated with that kind of information. I have a 17-year-old son. Actually, he's my most important production, okay? His world has to be completely different than mine. I mean, his generation sees nothing but possibility. And that's the kind of film that I want to work on.
Oh, I'm so glad I got to have you
Oh my
join
God,
me.
this was such a
Thank
pleasure.
you so much.
And congratulations.
So go to the bottom of the page and you will get all the information on Marabina, what she's doing, what she's done, how you can get in touch with her. And let us know in the comments what you thought of this interview, because I like feedback. So I would love to hear from you. If you like what you heard, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification bell so you can get all the information that we're doing in real time. That's all I got for you today. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Common Sense Mamita.